No matter how horrible you think you are at solving mathematics, I know the mention of mathematics alone gives people stomach upset, but no matter how horrible you think you are at solving math, right? Living in Accra or any other city for that matter will certainly transform you into a mathematical genius, at least from my own experience. Now, unlike many of my colleagues or many students who engage in all manner of rituals just to stay up late in the night to exams to cram their last notes, Iron Boy, when sleep knocks on my door, I opened gladly. So I was shocked to find myself up past midnight with pens, papers, and a calculator, working out number of hours I spend at home. Let's name that X. I subtracted the number of hours from 24, so you have something like 24 minus X. I got something like 16, okay, which means I spend an average of 7 hours at home, 24/7. Literally all I really do is just sleep at home. So I then multiplied this 7 by 30 days, and I get something like 210 hours. Yeah, I believe my times table, I believe I got something like 210 hours. My times table experience in primary school is not one to be so proud of. So if the 210 is not the result for 30 by 7, blame my teachers. I then divided this 210 hours by 24, and I get something like 8.7. Yes, I believe I got 8.7 now. Thank God for calculators. I would have done long division. Jeez, that thing freaked me out all the time. So now I have something like 8.7, yeah? And I rounded up to 9 because I had all my math teachers. They kept saying, round it up, even though I never understood what the phrase round it up actually means or where it came from. But this means that the aggregate of hours I spend at home comes to 9 days. No, the aggregate of days I spend at home, right? Yeah, if you put the hours together, yeah, it comes to 9 days out of 30 days. So why should anyone be paying so much for accommodation when really the rat race kind of city life won't allow you to even enjoy your own room for up to like half the days of the month? Why should young people wake up before the sun thinks of rising just to beat traffic and get to work in time, get home from work long after the sun has said goodbye to humanity, make some decent money for those who are lucky, or practically only enough to feed oneself for, which is the reality of many young people out there? And why should young people like this or these be made to pay outrageous rent when they ideally only spend about a quarter of their day at home, which is a quarter of their day at home, which is the only time they get to sleep? Why? I mean, why? See, the 2-year rent advance that most homeowners demand is even one thing that I have never understood. Okay, what if one dies by the 6th month out of the 24 months, which is the 2-year period? Who keeps the rest of the money? Tell me, who keeps it? Charlie, on top of this madness, some prepaid meters drink your credit like a horse in national contest. In some cases, you may end up spending more on electricity than your monthly rent itself. And if you delay in paying or buying the credit, you get to the ECG credit sales point only to be told you owe anything between 50 Ghana cedis to 400 Ghana cedis for what you have not consumed, just because the credit may have finished some hours earlier while you were at work. It's unbelievable. And the best part of the stress is when after managing all the heat in Trotro at a snail pace due to screeching traffic, you get home to your taps not flowing as a result of an unannounced doom kakra. Ejameu, Togbe, Abiyude, you keep playing Ludo with our power supply. Your day will definitely come. But forget about Ameu right now. Seriously, if you have been surviving this scenario, this rent calculation scenario all these years, where the only constant is increase in rent and utility bills, after all these years, my friend, you should be part of this year's National Science and Math Quiz, because living in Accra or Takrady or any other city for that matter has made you an undiscovered and an unsung mathematics Whiz Queen. We are champion, what? When we return from this break, as we go to Green, Medase, we welcome you to the Green Nation. What is it? Is AZUGUnation. Yeah, that is what it's called. We welcome you when we are back. Welcome back, people. This is BackPage on Citi TV. My name is Caleb Kudah. A certain SWAT boss, he has paid his dues at a short commission, and many Ghanaians say he deserves some accolades. So today, we honor a legend, SWAT boss par excellence, with a keen group of followers whose hearts he touched with his absolutely brilliant interview performance. Since so far, we have Sack Nation, Beam Nation, Shatter Nation. Is there anything like Shatter Nation? I don't really think so. No, so I withdraw that Shatter Nation thing. Even though the SWAT boss shattered boredom for many, we would like to honor the virtuoso SWAT boss. SWAT is actually SWAT. I don't know why I keep saying SWAT. We will honor the virtuoso SWAT boss with a group of people dedicated to his ideals. This group will be known as Azugu natives because they belong to the AZUGUnation. So Azugu natives, please give us a wave. Give us a wave. If you know you're part of the AZUGUnation, give us a wave. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, forms will be available at the police CID headquarters for those who are interested. But if you are yet to make up your mind whether or not to join the AZUGUnation, please see this.
Which are tapped into the long boots with the other accoutrements like body armors, helmets. Sometimes, as the situation demands, we put on other accoutrements which enhances the jobs, because sometimes we go to the beach to lay siege. Sometimes you will go and lay ambush for a particular assignment, and mosquitoes and all of you fall prey to them and other writers. So based on the type of operation that we conduct, we take along. And then sometimes too, the rain will be at the mercy of the rain. And we do all this.
Basically, Professor Henry Mensabosu probed DSP Samuel Azugu. He is head of the SWAT and the National Security. And she probed him as to why he would deploy his men to an inconsequential by-election with balaclava-clad guys. Like all of us, she felt uncomfortable that a by-election would draw SWAT officers dressed like they were in a war zone with masks and what have you. So, Azugunko can hate here. He says the masks act like mosquito repellent. Hey, Azuku mosquito net. Net mu Azukusu, umbrukusu. No, Azuku, you're a big man. You do everything, you do all. Now, if you want to build your confidence, you need to spend time driving around Boaleshi. Just that. If you do just that, I promise you'll be fine. Unfortunately for DSP Azugu and his Azugu natives, the confidence he spent several years building was demolished, tore apart, and completely eroded at the short commission, particularly by Commissioner Professor Mensabosu. But some Azugu natives say Azugu never dies. Azugu never dies. No, Azugu, he never dies. In fact, they want universities to introduce a course called Azugu 401. It's actually an introductory course to interview skills for final year students who may have to defend a project work they didn't do themselves or know nothing about, or for students who are applying, graduate students or final year students who are applying for a job they don't really qualify for, or when they are called before a panel to justify otherwise cock and bull stories on behalf of their bosses, and of course, to save their own faces. Azugu 401. Azugu 401. It's a compulsory course, Charlie, even though it will be non-scoring. Azugu 401. How can you pass? Interestingly, a certain colonel wants us to believe GSP Azugu wasn't in the right frame of mind while at the interview. Azugu natives say they don't like that thing. They're actually appealing to the commission to ignore the colonel.
DSP Azugu painted the picture as if he did not know that these men were going to use their mask. Would you be surprised?
No, my lord. That part I didn't listen to him, but I'm sure.
I am suggesting that to you. Would you be surprised?
I wouldn't, because he was here for almost 4 hours, and I'm sure he was. His thinking capability started giving him some problems, so he had to, at times, make some jokes out of some of these things.
Now, the DSP Azugu says when he saw the blood stains on the shirt of one of the victims, he was wowed, as in, he was shocked.
How come you are so sure of the gentleman I'm referring to?
Because, my lord, he was wearing a white. Later on, I saw it in the media. I saw that particular gentleman in the media with blood. To be frank, when I saw the blood on him, I said, "Wow." Oh, sorry, sorry. Oh, and how come that this thing was there and I didn't see it?
So was it confidence building or confidence sapping? Because you obviously went to sap the confidence of these people you said had infiltrated the constituency. So you arrived at the Labawaleshi Presby School.
Yes, my lord.
At about 8:15.
Yes, my lord.
You were doing confidence building.
My lord.
So, was it confidence building or confidence sapping? Yes, my lord. I mean, well, were it be all really well? DSP Azugu also suggested that, like you heard, the use of minimum force by his boys seemed like too much force for the rest of us.
Yes, my lord.
Did your men beat these people up?
No, sir. Their idea of minimum force that we saw on TV was, too much for all of us. They were trying to minimum force.
Before you go on, please.
Now, it seems policemen all over Ghana really have different ideas of what minimum force is at different times and places. A policeman will see a smoker in a ghetto somewhere and he will use deadly force, gravitational force, Nike force, and even air force to arrest the smoker. He will combine everything. But if armed robbers carry out an operation in Afienya or Gbechele and residents there call the police emergency lines, the same policeman will say, do you have lolly fare or money for fuel when we come? If you're unlucky and you don't have money and the answer is no, he then responds and says, well then, please, if you believe in God, then call for angelic forces. Yeah. And at the police checkpoint, better known as police barrier for many of us, a friend once asked me to meet her at a burial at some town. I then got to the cemetery where the burial service was ongoing, only to realize she meant something else, like police burial, not burial. I mean, mikra a conf. So you meet the same policeman at a burial, and he will remove the particulars of your documents with invisible force. Respectfully, dear IGP, the forces among the police is becoming too much, whether it's minimum or maximum. So Ghanaians say, I should beg you, kindly publish the force table your men use with the SI units and even the quantities, so we can know which force they use for every occasion and location. We beg. It is a passionate appeal. Let me confess, though, that the Short Commission has done us all a great deal of good. Initially, some of us were skeptical, but the Short Commission has done all of us a great deal of good. Now we know just how professional those in charge of our security are. I hear choking is one of the trainings you get when you go to the police training school. Yeah. East Legon Police Commander, oh correct sir, I salute you. You and your regional director are some of the few truthful people we have left in this country. I was not deployed. Kwesi Fori said I shouldn't worry. I went to vote. They took my car without my notice versus he was deployed. See the WhatsApp instruction. He said he's taking his daughter to school. Anyway, very conflicting, extremely conflicting narratives we've heard. But the State of the Nation's address has come up shortly. And before we go, it will come up shortly, but before we go, let me say hello to Delali Kwesi Brempong. Hello, sir. The monkey, sir. We liked your English, sir. It was lovely, sir. Thank you, sir. And thank you for telling us that the tree that was shot is still bleeding.
There was evidence of 15 gun shots. 8 of the shots landed on trees opposite my gate. And please, I would be very grateful if the commission can send the police to actually capture this information and bring it to the commission. The wounds on the trees are still, fresh.
The wounds are still fresh. We are grateful for that detail, even though much of what you say, people say were hearsays. In good time, I will tell the world how generous you are. Thank you so much. And thank you to the former IGP, now Commissioner. Thank you for coming. But you don't need to prove to us you are the former IGP. Please, keep to the irrelevant matters. That's what we really want. And kindly settle your scores with the radio pastors you have issues with before we come for the next sitting, okay? Thank you very much. From the AZUGUnation, we will move to the State of the Nation, but that is only when we return from this break. Please, stay with me.
Every weekday at 8 p.m., Citi Newsroom brings you analysis of the major news stories of the day. In-depth, comprehensive, and researched. It's 1 hour of local and international news from 8 to 9 p.m. It's the Citi Newsroom. Weekdays on Citi TV. Analysis of the most exciting football league in the world. Don't miss the stats, the news, and the debate. Get expert opinions on who makes the Fantasy League Premier League team of the week. It's the Premier League Preview Show.
You cannot in a lifetime compare the players in Pep's team last season to that of what Mourinho had in his first season. Jose Mourinho's squad of 2004-2005 were miles ahead of Pep Guardiola's team.
The Premier League Preview Show every Friday at 3 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Welcome back. This is BackPage on Citi TV. It's your new satirical show. My name is Kudah, and I am your host. I'm happy to welcome you back. Well, if I heard right, the president suggested that there is bumper harvest, and this is something we've been hearing for a long time, that we have abundant food. And Mr. President, well, this bumper food thing, people, I still don't get it. So, see, I went to some Buddha restaurant, at the back. It's not like that. It's not the tight restaurant in town. Some Buddha restaurant to buy watch. It was a Sunday, and I was just hungry, and I bought the watch, and now they say a cup is like 3 cedis. I was like, wow, from 2 cedis down to 3 cedis. I thought we were producing more rice. Anyway, the shocking part was that I wanted some Gary 50%, macaroni 50%. The lady said, no, the Gary, no. If you want Ghana City, I said, oh, Gary Kake, and then bachelor mumu coffee. What shocked me most was she used teaspoon to fetch the Gary. It was just one spoon like this. One Ghana City. I don't know if the bumper harvesting is a facade or Ghanaian traders are just being wicked. I really don't know. But this bumper harvesting, it has. I told me I drink kakra. I really don't know, because if there is bumper harvest, I'm thinking that it should reflect in the quantity and quality, most importantly, of what we are doing. Okay, so now about men's good, CNL Digital did some mouth-watering artworks on this, and I like the artworks from Parliament, the President's statements, Charlie infographics, the artworks, no, the city, no. And actually, I see some others, and I'm like, Anyway, men's good for. Mr. President said, and so we are not going to use our tax to pay you.
While I'm on the subject of rogue activities in the banking sector, this is probably the time to mention the men's gold debacle. This is a tragic phenomenon that appears to have occurred in plain sight and affected a lot of people in spite of warnings from official institutions. As the authorities try to unravel the intricacies of what happened, I admonish all Ghanaians to learn the necessary lessons for the future, even as state institutions work to bring a resolution to the matter, and those who are seen to have indulged in criminal activities are brought to justice.
Yeah, that's what Mr. President is saying. It looks like a lot of Ghanaians are excited. I don't know how you guys would take that, but essentially he says agric is booming. Until next time, Munyeska, Munfankoye, agric is profitable. On vigilantism, the president made a comment that quite sat well with me, even though I thought should have come early in the State of the Nation's address. Listen to him.
I want to use the platform of this message to make a sincere, passionate appeal to the leaders of the two main political parties in our country, MPP and NDC, to come together as soon as possible, preferably next week, to agree on appropriate measures to bring an end to this worrying and unacceptable phenomenon of vigilantism in our body politic.
Thank you, Mr. President. Even though your promise to deal with vigilantism, inviting the opposition to come together so you have hand in hand and not booth for booth conversations is noteworthy. You generally did not speak on the issue of insecurity long before. It looks like the vigilantism thing came with it robbery, attacks, and in its wake, we've had kidnapping and chakrading, and ever since these kidnapping stories have been up, I don't remember you even cough on this matter. I can understand when it started, you were out. The IGP too had traveled. Coincidentally, we don't know. It was a coincidence, but you didn't touch on kidnapping. No, you didn't. And so you need to come back and let us know what the government is doing about this vigilantism, because clearly the family is upset. If I should show you how they feel, you will not be too happy about it. Let's talk about the conduct of the minority, because this time they were not bloody, they were so lovely. It was amazing. And Haruna Idrisu's comments. Watch.
Last week, the President of the Republic and Commander-in-Chief have dutifully performed his duties as required of him in the Constitution. In this chamber, Mr. Speaker, as you yourself have observed, extraordinary conduct, the honor, the dignity of the President, let today mark the beginning of a rule of thumb that at all times, including when he will soon be succeeded, the same respect will be accorded.
And many Ghanaians are they have accorded the minority leader a lot of, admiration and love for his honorable conduct. Yeah, what many are personally appealing to media houses is not to, around such a holy time, such a decorous time where the minority have uplifted their name in Parliament, and generally what we saw as a decorous, State of the Nation address, even though after the President's immediate speech, if you're monitoring on radio, the noise you heard was like Mokola or something. But yeah, generally, the minority, they were very well behaved. And so the appeal to every media house is that it's too early for you to call Sami Jemfi and Harry Nana Boache to come and talk about what the President said. Honestly, let's deal with Honorable ABA Fuseni's proverbs for now. Let's do the gymnastics from Parliament. But as for they're brilliant. The two are lawyers, but we don't want them to be slapping themselves. You get what I mean? And hey, the President talk about open defecation. Or say emphatize.
But open defecation cannot be a characteristic of a country that is working to be transformed economically and to be counted amongst the developed nations of the world. Emphatize.
Like boys are doing open listing, and it's Mr. President says that emphasizing. And obviously when he was talking about the Ghana cleaners agenda, something, it was obvious the minority was roaring, almost, booing, and it's like, I said at the end of my tenure. And obviously, we live to see the end of the tenure. But frankly speaking, if Ghana is clean, the President wouldn't take it away when he leaves the presidency. It will be clean for us, and we'll be healthier, we'll be better. So, guys, please stop doing that thing. And ladies, if they don't have toilets in their homes, don't date them. And landlords who are transforming your toilets into rooms for people to come and rent, you need special prayers. And John Mahama, though, he failed to show his boot for boot premiere. Like, the Mahama bed was expected to premiere the second edition of Violence, which we saw at the NDC headquarters in the Ashanti region. But John Mahama is here to do that. Okay, John Mahama is here to premiere the second coming of the Boot for Boot thingy. We are hoping that this conversation about political parties meeting to have a pledge on vigilantism will address some of these excesses that we have seen, so that our leaders will all make a pledge towards that end. That's all we have time for. Thank you for watching us on BackPage. My name is Caleb Kudah. I'm glad you made time with us this week. Let's meet same time next week. And for whatever you do, it should always be best or nothing.